134.7, and that is your pace setter with P2 Purple Catfish. And the times are just going to fly in. Sohan 135 flat. We're going to ride on board of Vapor Hayden. He's coming through the underneath bridge section right there. Now coming into the final chicane. And then the penultimate turn, technically, that final chicane. Now through the final turn. Let's see what Vapor Hayden can do. Coming across the line. And it's not going to be pole. It's only going to be a 135.3. That puts him third fastest behind Sohan. Where is Cobalt on track? And he is into the pit lane with an invalid time. So back into the pit lane as many of the other, in fact, all the other drivers are. So at the moment, it's Walker on pole, Sohan in second, Vapor in third, Purple Catfish in fourth. Rounding up the top five is Knight, Ricky Starr in sixth, JST in seventh, Brogan Morris in eighth, Vapor Cobalt in ninth, and Owen Wilson in 10th. Those three drivers that I just mentioned without times, but they will line up in their positions in that order if they do not set times.
All right, we may have actually Revis Island joining the P5 driver. We may be able to get him in here. Late arrival to the track, overslept a bit, but yeah, Hayden may be able to get a teammate for the race starting P20 too. So just wanted to confirm that. We do have Revis Island coming into the session now, hopefully.
I don't know if he's going to be able to get in because usually you have to set a time to actually qualify in. So I think he may be okay if he joins into a session, but usually it's only short qualifying because all the drivers are on track. I don't think he's going to be able to get in. We'll have to wait and see, but it will be interesting. Nonetheless, we are just moving on through qualifying. About 6 minutes left to go in the session, and as we mentioned, we were talking about Walker. Great to be in P3, third race on the wheel. Now he's currently on pole position, and Ricky Starr has been another blocking the pit lane, and he's had a spin, and that's tough, you guys. So there is definitely some sort of situation in terms of spinning around near the pit lane, but he has been disqualified for blocking it, and Ricky Starr has been disqualified and down in P10.
That'll be an extra position for JC and Brogan, two of the normally toward 9th and 10th place qualifiers if they do get through. As we said, JC never been through, and Brogan, I think his highest qualifying on the year is about 9th position. He had a P2 actually in Hungary on the off chance, some interchanging conditions, but other than that, Brogan typically not a very fast qualifier. So we'll have to see if him or JC maybe can place themselves where they normally aren't, get a good race start here. Definitely a valuable commodity here at Singapore.
Vapor Cobalt is back on track on hopefully a valid lap this time, and he can put himself higher up than 8th on the grid where he currently stands, maybe even challenge for pole position. Right now it is held by Walker. Hayden, not his Vapor teammate anymore, but I'm still good friends, sitting in third position. And coming down the long DRS straight, the start-finish straight, and here we go, starting another lap here in Singapore. And let's see how Vapor Cobalt can handle this one. Coming towards the end of Sector 1, looking pretty tight in there from the rear. Back on the power, back on the DRS. Coming towards the end of the split is a fastest Sector 1 split. So Cobalt is saying hello here in qualifying with a fastest Sector 1, and hopefully some more purple sectors to go in the lap time for himself, looking to put it on pole here today in Singapore. A all very important pole position where overtakes are at a premium. He's definitely going to want to be in the best position possible, and there is no better position than P1. Back into the hairpin. Yep.
No, you're good. I was just going to comment some of these times. Granny Boy set a 134.0 in Q1 before the track started to rubber in. So really unfortunate he's not in this session, but it's going to give some of these drivers an opportunity to be somewhere and make an opportunity after the leader of the championship made not really a mistake on his own, but was involved in a little bit of an incident. So definitely all these drivers going to be trying to make the most of this opportunity as we watch Cobalt coming through the final turns of Sector 3.
And he's about to come around the final turn. Cobalt looking for a mega lap time right here. Coming around the final turn, it is a 134.5, and that is your fastest time on track, and that is provisional pole position for the Racing Point driver. And with about 3 minutes left to go in the session, I do believe that will probably be his last lap, unless he goes for another one. Let's bring up that telemetry. Yep, that is going to probably be it for Vapor Cobalt, but what a good time it is. What the best time it is. Saved the best for last here at the end of Q3. He puts himself on provisional pole position. Can anybody beat that one? We'll have to wait and see. Sohan and Walker are coming out of the pit lane. Let's see if Walker can put himself on pole here today. He's looking rather feisty here on the wheel in Singapore. Can he go faster? It's going to be about it is about 0.2 of a second faster he needs to go in order to put himself on pole. As we move into the final 2 minutes, a few drivers coming out of the pit lane, a few on outlaps having come out of the pit lane. Austin, as we final closing minutes of Q3, one final prediction after what we've seen. Who are you looking at for pole?
I still like Cobalt for pole. Set a really good time. Somebody I mentioned earlier, though, Sohan Matthew, I think could surprise us. I think he's going to jump Walker, get up into P2 here. We have Catfish, Hayden, and Owen Wilson all currently on laps, but all invalidated as well. So all the drivers still trying to improve on their times.
So that's not how you want to get the end of qualifying underway, but nonetheless, Owen Wilson will probably go around one more time. He saved up quite a bit of ERS, back on the power around the final turn. Let's go again here in Singapore as Owen Wilson looking to improve right now, sitting in 9th without a time. And he could put himself in a nice position here. Again, as you said, Granny Boy not in the session, and Ricky Starr disqualified. So he has a great opportunity to put himself well further up the grid than 9th at the moment. Brogan Morris, as you said, 9th fastest at the most he's ever had. And somebody has retired from the session. It is Cobalt, who has gone fastest on track, as we said earlier, and is pretty happy with his time. 1:34.5 is the time to beat. 5:25 to be absolutely exact. And let's see if Brogan Morris can be the driver who gets that fastest time. At the moment, though, a little bit of a moment from the rear tires there are not going to help his chances of that happening. Vapor Hayden has gone fastest in the first sector, so looking strong right now in the McLaren, looking for pole position here today. Sohan Matthew is on another lap coming out of the first couple of turns, back on the power. Let's see how Sohan Matthew gets underway. Walker had gone fastest in the first sector, but an invalidated lap at the end. That is it for Walker. P2 at the moment. He could be dropping down some positions as drivers go around again. Let's talk about Hayden right here. He's on a lap. He's coming into sector 2, and he has
Catfish has crashed. Catfish is out.
His carcass. Yep, that's the carcass of the AlphaTauri right there. Hayden just passed it, but thankfully it did not ruin his lap time. Hayden had gone faster by about 0.06 of a second, so it wasn't the fastest Sector 2 split for him. Let's see how Sector 3 gets underway for Hayden. Now coming into the end of the lap, around the final turn, the McLaren driver looking to put it on pole here today, comes across the line, and it is only going to be P2, a fastest third sector, an amazing third sector for Hayden, 1:34.574, just beating Walker, but not beating Cobalt, and Cobalt has put it on pole unless somebody else can have something else to say about it. Sohan Matthew is the driver who could possibly challenge. Let's see. And here comes Matthew coming around the final turn, coming across the line. No, an improvement by about 1/10 of a second, but not enough to make it into the next set, make it into pole position. And Walker is back into the pit lane after an invalidation, what could have been after that first sector. And what a time by Cobalt, 1:35.25. That is pole position for Vapor Cobalt in the Racing Point.
Yeah, unbelievable performance from him. Top 2 or 3, I think, at least in every qualifying session. So definitely showing his pace here. Let's see if he can capitalize that pole position, hold off Hayden and Walker at the start, and maybe turn it into a race victory.
So that is the end of Q3. Vapor Cobalt fastest, Vapor Hayden in second, Walker in third, Sohan Matthew in fourth, Purple Catfish into the top 5, and Knight in 6th. Well, I was about to go finish it, but the game decided not to have me do so. But nonetheless, there is Sohan Matthew. He has gone 4th fastest for Ferrari, and he can't be too unhappy about that position. Let's move on. It's Knight in 6th, 7th for Brogan, JST in 8th, 9th for Owen Wilson, and 10th is Ricky Starr. Of course, Ricky Starr was faster on track than he is in 10th, but he got a disqualification for blocking the pit lane. So those penalties here at the pit lane, very harsh here at Singapore. And now Ricky Starr has a little bit more work to do than he possibly imagined.
Yeah, Mercedes both making it through, though. Hopefully they can turn that into good points. Unfortunate spinning into the pit lane, getting that DSQ. Mercedes definitely been struggling. They started off the year on fire until the halfway point. The Canada race, getting 22 points. Ever since that Canada race in round 9, they've come total.
For Cobalt, who is on pole position here at the Marina Bay Circuit, with Vapor Hayden in 2nd position. No longer a Vapor driver, still very much Hayden, still very quick on the front row of the grid. Walker in 3rd position, Sohan Matthew in 4th. 5th for Purple Catfish, Knight in 6th position. Brogan Morris YT in 7th position. JST in 8th. 9th for Owen Wilson, and 10th for Ricky Starr. Let's bring up the the grid order. We have Pocket Dog on the mediums in 11th. Chief Chris in 12th position on his first race in the wheel. In 12th position on the medium compound tire. A great place for him to be. We'll see how he gets it done with the rest of the race. Granny Boy in 13th on the mediums. King Caesar starts in 14th. He's elected to go onto the soft tire. Interesting strat there. We'll see if it works out for him. Prince is 15th fastest on the medium tire. Mooks is 16th on the mediums. Ethan is 17th on the soft compound tire. Hash is 18th on the mediums. Raw is in 19th on the mediums. The only driver deciding to go on to the hard tires is Revis Island. As you said, he is actually into the lobby session, which is great to see. And he has decided to go into the hards, which, as we mentioned, could go really till the end of the race if you didn't have to make a pit stop. There's your predicted pit stop strategy, meanwhile. Soft, medium, medium, or medium hard, a one-stop strategy. There's your F1 Insights presented by Amazon Web Services. Us. My name is Irish Felix. I'm joined by 1819 Dogs in the commentary booth. However you want to say his name, Austin 1818. How do you prefer it? Do you prefer what I'm saying, or am I saying? Should not be saying Austin? I've heard nothing, so we'll wait and see. Nonetheless,
all right, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you go off with it. But yeah, any name works.
All right, sounds good. And there is the final car, Revis Island, lining up on his final grid position slot. 20 cars on the grid, and we're just getting ready for those 5 red lights for the start. It's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here at the Marina Bay Circuit. The Singapore Grand Prix is underway. The lights out, and away we go. And Vapor Cobalt gets a good start. There's a Haas off track trying to make it into turn 1, and look at that walk roof. A great start back up in the P2, and Hayden spun around in the turn 1. A terrible start from McLaren driver, and it's Cobalt, though, away in P1, Walker in P2. Knight had a fantastic start moving up in the P3. Sohan Matthew in 4th position. Brogan Morris in 5th position. Purple Catfish into 6th. JC into 7th. So bad start from McLaren driver, unfortunately not making it into turn 1 okay. And unfortunately a spin round, the 19th on the grid, and he's right where his teammate is in 20th. And is there wing damage from the McLaren driver? No, there is not. But unfortunately for him, he's going to have a lot of work to do. He's already trying to make up some moves. And there's problems. Chief Chris has had a problem. And a start to the race he did not want to have. And now he's going to have to make a bit of a 6-point turn in a track like this. And he has major wing damage. That's going to be a pit stop at the end of this lap. More damage, more problems. And now it's JST who's had a spin. and he is not going anywhere on track. It's been a clumsy first lap for all the drivers so far. It feels like we have not seen a virtual safety car of any kind, no safety car of any kind. The game is keeping us going. Vapor Cobalt leads this race. Behind is Walker. Knight in third, a little bit closer behind. Sohan Matthew in fourth, and rounding up the top five is Brogan Morris, though that may change very soon as Purple Catfish is right up on the back of the Haas.
And Granny Boy and Hash with absolutely amazing starts. Granny Boy already back up into P8, and Hash, after getting DSQ starting back in P18, is up to P9 right behind Granny.
Oh, there's more problems. There's more problems, and I believe somebody's gone down the grid order. Is that King Caesar? And he's had a spin, and there's more wing damage, and King Caesar may be getting a little bit used to the wing damage here because he's had wing damage almost in every qualifying session. And here in the race, as he's going to make his first pit stop of maybe a few more in this race. And he's off the soft tire. He was one of the only drivers to start onto the softs in the bottom 10. And we'll see how he can make it work for him through the rest of the race. Nonetheless, back up to the top of the grid order as Vapor Cobalt currently leads the Singapore Grand Prix. Walker still in second position. Knight a little bit further back. In fact, the top four really separated by about a second and a half each from each other. Sohan Matthew a further 2.8 seconds back. Gaps already starting to form here in Singapore, as it's going to be a rather long race, I'm afraid, it feels like, in terms of overtakes.
Yeah, all the drivers that did put on the medium tire, so they will all need to make at least one more stop. Nobody risking it, putting on the hard, trying to go to the end.
So let's see. Chris and Caesar are still technically first and second according to my leaderboard. So I will enjoy that for a tiny bit, but it will update soon.
Guys, take a picture while it lasts if you don't think you're going to get out to the lead again. So.
and there goes, and Cobalt back into the lead of the race. Walker is sitting in second. Walker had a fantastic start, and he puts himself up into second. Now, there was contact into turn number one. I'm not sure if Walker was involved in that contact. Unfortunately, that has left Vapor Hayden, who has made a recovery drive up in the... Oh, there's problems again. And I think Brogan Morris has had a problem, and he's been overtaken a couple times by a few drivers. And now Ricky Starr and Hash are going side by side for a moment there, but Ricky Starr has made the move work on the AlphaTauri of Hash. And does Hash have damage on the front wing? No, it looked like he may have had some end plate damage, but at the moment, he is A-OK. And it looks like there's a pass with, Raw has gone into the pit lane. Does he have damage? I don't know, but he's making a pit stop rather early on this medium tire stint, and I do see a wing ready in the Renault garage. So there it is, a lot of wing damage on the Renault right there, and he goes right back onto a new set of mediums. So he is pretty set on those medium tires, and we'll see if he can have a little bit more luck on this particular stint.
Yeah, very good race overall. So no safety cars yet, which is surprising. Every Singapore race has had a safety car so far, but currently nothing yet. Sohan Matthew has left the session, so we'll try to get him an invite back.
He was the new host, and now he's not the host, and unfortunately, a position or not gained. He still now would have been in fifth, now fourth position. That is an unbelievable start from the Red Bull driver, showing the pace he has here at Singapore and the pace he has had all season, really paying off because he is having an amazing start to his race.
Yeah, Granny Boy definitely showing what he could have been, but at least it's given us some overtaking opportunities to see, which you might not see a lot of in Singapore. If we saw him out front, might be pulling away with this race already, but getting to see him having to make some overtakes as Hash is going past Ricky Starr right now as well.
So Ricky Starr had the move on Hash before, and now Hash has returned the favor and given himself the position. Ricky Starr now going to have to chase back down the AlphaTauri of Hash and see if he can make it past the driver himself. But at the moment, Hash sits in seventh, Ricky Starr in eighth. No penalties yet so far in the race, but I don't expect too many, except maybe picked up in the first sector. There's not a whole lot of places to cut the track. There's a few places to extend it, but still, most of the places that you would extend into the track, you're extending yourself into a wall. So I imagine we're not going to see a whole lot of those track extensions here, unless you're a little too clumsy through a corner.
Yep, and I do want to say, too, Hash even making that overtake with a missing front right wing plate. So he is missing the front right end plate on his wing right now. Still able to hold on to P7, though.
Yeah, it's we'll see how long he waits to make a pit stop there. Of course, that is going to be a little bit of a longer pit stop for himself there. Meanwhile, let's move back up to the top. I'm losing. I have 0 gaps on my leaderboard except for like the bottom 5. So that's very useful. Thank you, game. But nonetheless, let's go. I wanted to look real quick what we're looking in terms of pit stop, and it looks like about 25 seconds lost, 25 and a half seconds lost in the pit lane. So one of the longer pit lanes here in the F1 calendar. And Prince has picked up the first penalty of the day. Maybe we'll see a few more, but I don't expect too many. We are seeing some passes, and Knight's had a problem, and he's gone way off track. And it looked like he had a bit of an off, and I'm not too sure what happened there, but at the moment Ricky Stark comes out of the pit lane. He made a pit stop himself. I didn't see him have damage. Was he on the soft tire? I don't believe he was.
No, yeah, he did pit early on lap 1 of the race, I believe. I don't actually,
gets overtaken by Brogan, actually, and Brogan has wing damage of his own. So a few end plates missing here on the grid. A few drivers maybe having a little bit too touchy at the first few couple of laps, and Pocket Dog had a little bit of a moment from the rear, and he doesn't want to be too careful. He wants to be a little more careful, on the turns here. And
Caesar has spun at the end of Sector 3. Yep, Caesar spun down to last place, but nobody behind him going to be able to spin it around. Not much wing damage, it doesn't appear.
Looks like it looks like he's fine to go. But it is going to be another spin for Caesar, and it's just not been the Singapore Grand Prix I think he envisioned. And there is the front wing off of the car, and it's just been a very poor race so far for the Racing Point driver. I'm sure he's going to try to keep it all back up in the pace, but nothing has seemed to work out this weekend for him.
No, yeah, definitely not good for him. But the Racing Point's currently bookending the field. Oh.
And that's the VSC there, so that may have come because of Caesar. I'm not too sure, but we do have a VSC right now in the race, lap 6 of 31. So that was going to slow up the pack, and there we go, actually. It looks like, King Caesar is about an entire front wing now, so that is probably what brought out the VSC. We'll see how long this lasts. He is quite slow on track. In fact, he's about to get lapped by his teammate very early on in this race. So that is probably what's brought out the VSC. I hope it doesn't last as long as the fact that he's on track with that front wing, but these VSCs tend to hurt your race a lot because you do tend to pick up some drive-through penalties, the worst feeling in the world, being negative on the delta right at the end. I've had it happen, unfortunately, to myself, and it just stinks because I don't know what this delta does in the game, and it never feels like it makes any sense. And so he's retired on track in front of Cobalt, and it's just, not the race to remember, for sure. No,
definitely. If it could go wrong today for King Caesar, it went wrong. The error in qualifying 2, messing up Granny Boy's lap.
I thought Walker had a bit of a moment there, but he kept it okay.
Yep, I think the yellow flag is just King Caesar's car is now pulled off right at the end of Sector 2. So we should be clear now. They got the car off the circuit. Should be good to go now. 19 cars. Cobalt still leading this race, though. Hopefully going to carry the load for the Racing Point the rest of the way.
He is well. 1.2 seconds is his lead in this race. I'm going to ride on board of Owen Wilson. He's the only driver really in any kind of battle, and right now it's with Hash as he's trying to chase down the driver. A lot of gaps up and down the field. We do actually have Mooks, who is trying to chase down Pocket Dog, who has had a few moments on track. The rears are not looking too great on the Haas right now. He's had a few moments where the rear has really snapped on him. And there's another yellow flag somewhere on track, and I'm not too sure what that was for. It might have been a Williams driver. Nonetheless, that Walker has now caught up a little bit to Cobalt, so I think Cobalt may be losing a little bit of pace on those medium compound tires because Walker has steadily been gaining some time on him, especially in the first sector.
Yeah, and the drivers to watch right now, Hayden is one of those drivers. He will not have to pit again if he doesn't want to. Currently way down in the order, but if he doesn't have to pit, he may be able to make up some decent positions here. Open air, and we saw how quick he was in the qualifying sessions. Let's see if he can get back up, close that 18-second gap down to the Red Bull ahead, and start making up some ground on these leaders.
I was riding on board, I ride on board of Ricky Starr, who has made a pass on Brogan Morris, I believe, up into 11th position, now behind his teammate, Knight in 10th. That gap, about 5.7 seconds, will be a little difficult to make in the race, but we'll see if we can do so. Prince, Mooks, and Thug, a little race to keep on board with as they're rather close in gaps. And now look at this, Walker is now within a second of Cobalt, coming towards the end of lap number 7, towards lap number 8. Now we're going to have some DRS come into effect here, and there it is. Walker has picked up the DRS, and now we may see a bit of our fight on our hands here for the lead of the race.
Yeah, good battling all around here. Some battles throughout the field. So definitely a very fun race to watch at the moment. If there's any safety cars that may change their strategies, though, as we progress through the race here.
Walker, as you can see, the DRS is helping him quite a bit. Now about 0.7 of a second inside of Cobalt's lead of this race. Did not use any ERS on that particular lap, though, just using the DRS to help him. So we'll see if he decides to use some in the future. But in the first stint of the race, you do want to be a little careful with your use of battery. You don't want to overuse it and have a problem where you have to charge for many laps on end, not have anything to defend with. Brogan Morris has now picked up his own 3-second time penalty, and he's going to have to deal with that towards the end of the race, hopefully. From Pocket Dog that has cost him a position. He just keeps ahead of Prince, but Mooks is now ahead of Pocket Dog, up in the 6th position, now 17 seconds back from Sohan. Got a bit of work to do if he wants to catch up into the top 5, but now Prince is going to try to find his way past the Haas driver of Pocket, who is having a whole host of problems on track, really having a tough time keeping it all together. I want to mention, look at Knight looking to dart around the outside of the McLaren of Rivas on him, and now Rivas goes a little deep and up.
Safety car.
A safety car. Raw's out of the race. He's had a crash somewhere on track, and I don't see exactly where it is. There's nobody really around him, so I can't see exactly who it is, but we're going to start to see some pit stops, I presume.
Yep.
That is a crash, it looks like, for Raw, and he is out of the Singapore Grand Prix. It's at the end of Sector 1, it looks like. And, yeah, unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I imagine we see basically all the front runners diving into the pits here, getting a free pit stop. Everybody, all of them strapping on the hard tires, I'd imagine. Ross spun it in turn 1, caught a little bit of the curb, spun out to the inside through the pit lane exit, and broke his tire and wing off there, or his wing off there, and I believe it just DNF'd him. May have retired from the session at that point. Yep. Yeah.
He must have been carrying a lot of speed to have that kind of crash happen.
Yeah. It looked like he may have just missed his braking point. But yeah. Unfortunate for Raw. But still another runner in the race. And a long time to go left. whatever that is. 22 laps still left in the race. So a long way to go still for all these drivers.
Yeah, it was mentioned by Mook. There is going to be a safety car. It's more of a fact, not a when, and the when has happened on lap 9. We are under safety car conditions here in Singapore after the crash from Raw and not a lot of pit stops. I want to mention there is a little bit of racing going on between Rivas and Mooks, and I'm not too sure why.
I believe Mooks just tried to overtake Rivas under the safety car. Not sure what happened.
I mean, I understand they're probably dealing with the Delta a little bit too, which is always an interesting character in the safety car palooza, it seems. But we'll see if they keep a little more tidy as the field bunches up a little bit. Now we see the pit stops come into the fray, and Ranty Boy has decided to go into the softs. That's a very interesting call. I don't know if that was a mistake or on purpose, but that's an interesting strategy. Walker is onto the medium tires, and Vapor Cobalt is onto the hards.
Yeah, Granny Boy has been known to take a little bit of a risky strategy. Walker did this to him in Vietnam. Granny Boy pit onto hard tires. Walker pit onto softs and did a two-stop and was able to come back and beat Granny Boy on the very last lap of the race. So maybe Granny Boy is trying to pull off those heroics here and just show us a little bit of that pace here today. Going for a two stops onto softs, maybe.
Yeah, and you know, you got to imagine that that in a track like Singapore, where penalties are not exactly plentiful, that maybe a riskier strategy may in fact come into play. Now, at a track like Singapore, I believe it's a little of a higher degradation here on track than it is at Vietnam. So I'll have to wait and see how long those tires, again, those tires should last about 9 laps, maybe a little longer, given that we're under safety car, and Sohan's had another position at the moment, but he's definitely going to want to get back into the session.
Yeah, a lot of issues it seems like with the network today. But yeah, as you were mentioning, they do use the softest set of tire compounds here. So the C5, C4, and C3. Vietnam is using the medium sets, so Vietnam is using the C4, C3s, and C2s. So essentially, the tires of Vietnam, the softs are basically what are the mediums here. So yeah, definitely they use the harder sets in Vietnam. But if they go at least another lap under safety car, that's a solid 10 laps on the softs. Even if it's full pace running, I think Granny Boy can pull that off. Might be a little bit risky, but at least it gives us something. I always love seeing the drivers do different strategies. Sit at everybody on hards, follow in a procession. Give us a little bit of pace. Show us what you can do. And I also want to say the only driver yet to pit, Revis Island, in 5th place on those hards. If he can get a late... Oh, and what? The Ferrari just drove... Ooh. The Ferrari just... Okay. Yeah.
Some PG-13 action hearing on in the safety car section, but nonetheless, they're still okay, and thankfully that's not a real crash.
Everybody is still moving, yep.
Yes, everyone's moving.
No penalties. It does not appear for any of the drivers.
It's okay. You're not. It's not the first time. I did that a lot when people were coming in like, "Oh my goodness, what a crash!" Like, yeah, like no, it's just something's going on with the game. Not too sure.
Yeah, just very odd to see some of that stuff in this game.
Nonetheless, we continue on. There's the safety conditions here. Lap 11 of 31. J.Steve has to catch up a little bit. He's quite far behind the rest of the pack, so we could be here for a little longer. Chief Chris as well is coming around towards now the lead lap, but he has to pick up the pace a little bit too. And Vapor Hayden is also a little bit far back. In fact, a lot of the grid is far back. Now Chris is finally catching up. Owen is a little bit further back, should be catching up soon. But J.Steve, J.Steve's a really far away pack. So hopefully he can get around on the lead lap, and I feel like I'm on a NASCAR race on the lead lap.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's hope that J.Steve can get back in and hopefully be with the rest of the cars on this restart.
Yeah, even if they go another lap under the safety car, I don't even know if J.Steve will be able to catch the field by then. Definitely going to need to put a little bit of pace down to try to catch up to this field. We'll see here at the end of Sector 2 is typically when we'll hear from the stewards on the safety car if it will be coming in or not.
Well, right now, nonetheless, the AMG Mercedes currently leads us away. Vapor Cobalt is your leader with Walker in second. Granny Boy on the soft compound tire. We'll see how that soft strategy works out for him, whether or not that was the correct call. Or is Walker the driver who is most advantaged here on that medium tire? A mixture of both worlds. You got the durability of the hards with the gripness of the softs. That's why they're called the mediums. I don't know. Maybe that's why they call them that. But that's a good way to think about calling them that. Cobalt on the hard. So he's gone for a more traditional strategy here with soft to hard strategy. or in this case, a medium to hard strategy, as the top 5 all started on the medium. So a more traditional strategy call from Cobalt. We'll see if it works out for him. Drivers behind him going on a bit of a different call. Walker, actually, this is going to still be, I believe, would have to be a minimum 2-stop race, as Walker started on the mediums as well, onto a new set of mediums. So he's probably thinking at the end of the race maybe going for a set of softs. Of course, very quick near the end, but it's going to be interesting to see if that can net him a victory here today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe Granny's going to be going on to mediums towards the end and Walker on softs or soft. A lot of open opportunities right now. Granny Boy and Revis currently on a 5-place podium, or not podium streak, but top 5 streak. The only 2 drivers, top 5 in the last 5 races. So let's see if they can hold on to these positions and make the most out of this. But yeah,
well, if
Cobalt.
there was a driver of the day, the pick maybe is Revis, because what a race. Even Granny Boy, though, has had a fantastic drive, but of course Revis came away from the back, of course not even participating in all qualifying. Starting at the back, he's up in the 5th. A great race for himself. Hard tires. They're 11-lap old hards, I may add, so he has not pitted yet, so he's going to have to do that soon-ish. He doesn't have to pit, technically. Of course, as we said, these hard tires are like diamond. They last forever on this track, but it's more so when it's strategic for him to make a pit stop. At the moment, probably not so, given the fact the entire grid is bunched up. Let's actually go back to the back. And as JSD has finally caught up with the rest of the pack, I believe we're probably going to be, our final lap of this safety car is this lap, and now Cobalt will lead us away. He will be essentially the pace setter. He can start whenever he wants to, and we'll see when he decides to do so. I see a lot of drivers tend to do it on the final turn, which is a great turn to kind of catch the rival behind you out without them noticing, and you can get a pretty good runaway on a safety car restart. Safety car restarts are very favored for the leaders of this race, given the track design.
Yeah, hopefully Cobalt can get enough life into those tires to be able to get on a nice exit here.
Oh, there's contact at the back, and some drivers have picked up 5-second penalties. They're under safety car, and unfortunately they picked up 5-second penalties. Cobalt is still waiting to go, and I think we're going to see him go. Let's ride on board with him, and here we go, going under open. That's a bad start for Cobalt, putting the power on early. Unfortunately for him, it did not work out so well. Granny Boy, though, on the inside in the turn 1, ahead of Walker, up in the P2, and Cobalt now is going to have some pressure with the soft tire runner for Granny Boy behind him. Let's see if the Red Bull driver can get ahead of the Racing Point. Now coming into the turn, Cobalt goes wide, not a lot of heat on those hard tires. Granny Boy looking for an inside move, may look for an outside move now, coming into the turn. He gives him the room on the outside, he brakes very late, he goes around the outside, and a fantastic move from Granny Boy.
Wow.
Up in the first position. What an overtaking. Cobalt down in the second, and now he's got to worry about Walker. But Cobalt, a bad start under safety car, his hard tires not up to temperature, and he had a very bad restart of initially getting on the power, and now he's been overtaken by Granny Boy, and he now may get overtaken again by Walker, who's going to try his best to get past Cobalt after losing the position to Granny Boy. But Granny Boy, what a start up into first. Not a better way to start a safety car restart, and it's been an absolute blistering drive from the Red Bull driver. A fastest sector 2 to add on there, and Granny Boy is flying.
Yeah, he's starting to show that pace, those soft tires. He's going to have to try to pull a gap here, though, because Cobalt will not have to stop again. So Granny Boy is going to have to try to make the most out of those tires while he can. So very good, he can be able to get past on the first lap. Now let's see if he can put that pace to the test. Soft tires, as we said, about 2 seconds a lap faster than those hard tires.
Walker is in third position, trying to chase down Cobalt, but Walker has the first 3-second time penalty of the top 5 runners, so that may affect him later on into the race. And we'll see how much it affects him, but at the moment you can see a clear pace advantage for Walker. Look at him, almost on the rear diffuser of Cobalt. Now back on the power, he's using some overtake. No DRS quite yet on the race, so it's pure engine power. Now going on the inside into the turn, and the move is made and dusted. And now Cobalt, though, trying to challenge back on the outside. Walker may not have been expecting it, gave him a little bit of a nudge, but ultimately not too much contact. But Walker has made it past Cobalt and has put himself up in the second position, and now Cobalt is going to look to try to make a counteroffensive on this lap or next.
Yeah, very good racing there. Walker is now going to be able to, so they've sorted themselves out. Softest tires out front, mediums in second, and hards in third. So Walker is going to need to try to grow that gap, as you said. He started on the medium, so hasn't used a different set of compound of tire. You need to use at least 2 different compounds of tires. We have 3 to choose from for the races here. But Cobalt has used 2, and on those hard tires will be able to get to the end. So interesting to see these front 3. Purple Catfish, currently in P4, a very good race from him overall as well for the AlphaTauri team.
Night Katse is trying to chase down Revis Island, who is rounding off the top 5 right now. He is on the medium tires, Katse, whereas Revis is on the hards, and he's on some very worn hard tires. As we said, it's going to be an interesting call when he decides to make his pit stop. But right now he's losing a whole bundle of time, and now Katse on those newer medium tires is trying to eat him alive. We'll see if he can do so. Sohan, meanwhile, is putting the pressure on the Mercedes on the inside, and it's a battle between the Mercedes and the Prancing Horse. But it doesn't work out for Sohan, and now Ricky Starr may try to make up an advantage. Katse still trying to chase down Revis. This is a great battle right now for 6th position in this race, even 5th now if Revis is going to get involved. Here comes Sohan, back of the DRS. So does Knight, but Knight Katse doesn't really have the pace. Meanwhile, Sohan keeps behind for the moment, not able to make a lunge on Katse, a little bit too far back. Ricky Starr, meanwhile, looming in the distance, looking for an opportunity, maybe a little bit of a mistake from somebody, and put himself further up. Sohan cut the track right there, and now look at this. Ricky Starr's looking for an inside move. This is not an overtaking opportunity, but Ricky Starr wants to make it work nonetheless. He's moving to the outside line. There's still side by side, a little bit of contact. Sohan loses it a bit, and he is down into 8th. Ricky Starr, what a move from the Mercedes driver, up into 7th position.
Takes some serious guts to overtake in that spot of the track.
Meanwhile, look at this. Katse is putting a lot of pressure on Revis, and we have had a problem. Chief Chris and Mooks, I believe, are having a bit of a battle right now, and now there's some and Mooks has been spun around, unfortunately. Looks like there may have been contact. We'll have to wait and see after the race, but meanwhile, we got to keep up with this battle right now for 5th position, because Katse is right on the back of him, and he is trying to put the pressure on that McLaren, but he does have some problems from the rear end, and now Ricky Starr may try to get involved. Sohan Matthew, though, is right up on the back of Ricky Starr. Now he moves to the inside line. A move before turn number 1 for Sohan. Back up in the 7th ahead of Ricky Starr, and now he will try to focus back on Knight. But now Knight in a battle of his own, trying to catch up to Revis, going into the DRS zone. DRS is now active. The rear wing can now open, and you can see the slipstream battle going on. This is the battle you want to see here at Singapore. Knight trying to catch up to the McLaren. Sohan right behind. That's the real danger for Knight. It's not the McLaren, it's the Ferrari. Sohan is having an amazing race. Some amazing battles. He got back ahead of Ricky Starr. There's another problem, and I believe Hash has had some contact. Yes, a lot of front wing damage for Hash's car. Not sure what happened there, but he's have to make a pit stop. He's currently in 13th and is going to lose more time, including even more with a with a penalty right there. Look at this. Hayden now trying to get through the pack right now. The Renault is giving us some trouble.
Ooh.
Hash has had a crash, and he's crashed into the wall before making it back to the pit lane. Are we going to see the safety car get deployed because of that one? I think we're going to be okay. What if deployed by now, I think, already. And we are going to continue on. Look at this. And they're the Red Bull of Ethan. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Hogan as well very much in the battle for 9th. As he sits in 9th position right now. He's got a huge pack, a gaggle of cars who are all looking to make that position. And now Brogan has wing damage. He's picked up some damage, and now there's big damage on the right side of the end plate there, and some elements gone as well. And I gotta take a breather for a second here.
Very good battling all the way throughout the field right now.
Sohan again on the inside. Naikatse is knocked off track. Sohan and him side by side. The Ferrari gives him the squeeze, and he's up in the 6th. What is going on? What a move by the Ferrari, and the moves are just coming and going. Rivas, meanwhile, maybe fighting for his life, because here comes the Ferrari. He doesn't have the DRS, he doesn't have the ERS. A move on the inside. There he goes, and the McLaren stays ahead for now. But now the Mercedes of Knight looking to move on the inside. Oh my goodness! Now he loses time, and Ricky Star may be looking for a move on his teammate, but keeps behind for the moment.
Yeah, the issue for the Mercedes right now, I see on the back the flashing light. That means they are under 10% ERS right now. I don't see that on the Ferrari or the McLaren, so definitely a little bit better management of ERS has allowed Sohan to now finally get past both the Mercedes. Maybe a little bit less downforce as well. As we saw Ricky start attacking in the corners, but Sohan's getting past on that front straightaway.
Though, nonetheless, what a battle we have seen in this race. This is not what we usually see here at Singapore, but the drivers are putting on an absolute stunner of a race right now. Granny Boy has pitted, so those soft tires are done for him, and he's gone into the pit lane. And what tire does he set on? The medium tires go onto the car. Walker picks up another penalty. However, he does take back the lead of the race, but I believe, as we said before, he is going to have to make another pit stop, as he is on the same tire that he started on, those medium tires. So Walker is going to have to make another pit stop. Somehow Cobalt is back into the mix here for the lead and the win of this race.
Sohan has now gotten past Rivas in the same spot he got past both the Mercedes as well. So he is now up into P4, has some clear air. Let's see what he can make out of that.
The Red Bulls come side by side out of the pit lane. Granny Boy has a bit of an advantage. Ethan is not going to let... Actually, let's buy his teammate a little bit there, and now maybe a bit of strategy going on. But meanwhile, JST is going to take advantage on the inside of his Red Bull compatriot there on track. And JST up into 10th position, into the points right now, trying now to look ahead towards Granny Boy. Let's see if he can do so. Nope, looks like Ethan had a bit of a problem right there, and he does have wing damage. He's made contact with the wall, and that's an end plate gone on the car there. Granny Boy has made it past Prince now, up into 8th, and now, as we mentioned before, he's going to be super, super quick on those medium tires towards the end of this race.
Yeah, Granny Boy currently, though, 24 seconds behind Cobalt with a bunch of traffic in front of him. A lot of them not needing to stop, so it'll be very hard.
I need to mention Naikatse has gone back ahead of Rivas. Up into 5th position, a place again where we do not expect overtakes. The overtake galore right now in Singapore. What a race this has been. It's probably one of the best Singapore races I've ever had the chance to commentate on. What a great decision I made today to commentate on Savior 6 Racing League. You're watching live coverage of round number 16 of 22, and a pit stop now for Naikatse into the pit lane in 18 lap, 11 lap old mediums. Now he will move on to another set of medium tires towards the end of the race, and we'll see how the Mercedes driver can fare there, as he's coming out right now probably in 12th position. I believe his teammate is actually not going to pass him. He was actually safe to his teammate in the pit stop, so Naikatse should be coming out ahead of his teammate, who might be close here. It's going to be rather close. Ricky Star's coming out of the pit lane. No, he's actually lost it to his teammate. Not great right there.
He almost loses it coming out of the pits, spinning his car left. I think he managed to avoid the wing damage there. That was very close.
Good to go.
Oh, and Granny Boy has now gone past Hayden. He got held up for at least half a lap there. That was not ideal for Granny's strategy, getting held up behind the McLaren on those very old hard tires.
But now Granny Boy has a little bit more work to do. We're on lap number 19 of 31, so we're into the final third or so of this race. And now Granny Boy has 4.6 seconds to make up on Rivas, who meanwhile is on a set of, let's just say, very aged hard tires, 18 lap old. Of course, they could still go till the end, as we mentioned, but I think he's going to want to make a pit stop pretty soon. And I think we know what tire is going to go on. It's that Red Bull tire, the soft tire, a very quick tire towards the end of this race, and we're going to see a bunch of overtakes, I think, for the McLaren driver. who was having a pretty exciting race for himself, I'd say. Well, up into a lot of battles. Cobalt has picked up a penalty of 3 seconds. If we bring up the detail on the penalties, Walker has 6 seconds. He's 7 seconds ahead right now of Cobalt, who now he has a bit more of a gap given the fact that Cobalt has a 3-second time penalty of his own, though. Walker does have to make another pit stop still in this race. I'm pretty short. If we look at the one stop, he started on the mediums. He's now back on the mediums, so he does still have to make another one.
Yep, Walker still needing to stop, and Rivas needing to stop. I think those are the only two drivers that are still required to make a pit stop in this race right now.
Walker coming through the hairpin. He's 7 seconds ahead. Let's ride back on board of Granny Boy, because now look at this. Didn't I say it was 3.6 seconds or so like a lap ago when I said he had a lot of work to do? I didn't say anything like that because Granny Boy's just made the pass. Look at how easy it was to catch up to the McLaren driver. And Rivas now is going to have some pressure because Vapor Hayden, his teammate, is a little bit further behind, and those hard tires are starting to show their age because the times are just flying by in terms of gaps. On the nicest of hard tires himself, so we may see that gap go down a little slower, but he is still on newer tires nonetheless.
Yeah, maybe Rivas will try to just help his teammate out a couple laps, give him some free DRS. But Rivas definitely hoping for a lucky virtual safety car here towards the end. As we watch Pocket
There's
Talk.
rain. There's rainfall in this race. There is rain in this race.
Oh, goodness!
I'm on board of Granny Boy, and there is rain.
Oh, no!
Oh my
man.
goodness, what a crazy turn of events here. The final third of this race, there is rainfall here at Marina Bay. A rather rare occurrence here at Singapore. Not a lot of rainfall this part of the year, but it is happening nonetheless. And we are going to have to wait and see how this progresses. But there are trickles of rain coming down here at Singapore, at Marina Bay. It's going to get rather treacherous very quickly. Let's see how quick the rain develops and whether or not we're going to see any drivers going to the inters towards the end of this race.
Yeah, maybe Rivas actually had an ideal strategy. I did not know there was rain in the forecast here today. Only one night race in the history of F1 was 2017 at night here, and we saw how that race went. It was not very clean. So let's hope we can see some clean racing stay here today. But the rain definitely picking up a little bit as we go more and more here.
And you can just see the track is starting to shine up a little bit more. The rain is starting to make some reflections. I could stand out there and maybe see my face rather soon. So the inter tires may be coming to effect rather soon here, as those slick tires will start to become rather useless no matter how long you've been on them. Now, if you're drivers like Rivas, you got to be really upset with incidents like this where you were hoping to go into the softs till the end. Now you're like, well, when is the rain going to start? Because now I'm not going to make a pit stop. I might just wait for the for it to get wet enough to go into inter tires. But Rivas is probably not too happy about this state of affairs for himself right now. There is rainfall in this race, and that means that soft strategy may have been looking for at the end is rather done and dusted. Unless, there's contact into the wall, and Rivas has had a crash, and that is it. And now there's also damage, I believe, for one of the Williams. I'm not too sure where that it's. I believe Walker onto the intermediates already, so they think it's. And there it is, DRS disabled, and it's time for inters.
Oh no!
Walker's out there first.
Hayden coming in the pits behind Rivas. Rivas is going to have to make a wing change. Hayden is going to be held in the pits a very long time here.
This is a disaster. This is a disaster in the pit lane, and now this has blown it for Hayden, and now it's blown it a bit for McLaren, and there was a major misorganization there, as Murray Walker once said in a race of Europe not too long ago at the Nürburgring, and this is not what McLaren needed, as now there's the double stack. They have to get back and ready. Now they'll change the tires, and all this is taking a forever amount of time, and Hayden will not be happy about that state of affairs that just occurred in the McLaren pit box.
Oh, Walker has spun it, I believe. Walker spun. He is now recovered, but he spun. He just lost 6 seconds on his gap to Cobalt. Cobalt within 3 seconds now of Walker. Safety car.
Now we're under safety car.
Oh.
So something has happened, and I believe it may have been Walker's spin that may have brought that safety car out. But this is going to be a nail-biter of a restart here for everybody. a safety car towards the end. It is now raining. We'll see how much more it grows. We may even see wets if there's enough time. And Walker, meanwhile, also has damage on the front wing. On the end plate right there. Actually, it might be even more damage than that. No, it looks like both end plates are gone. I think Walker's going to have to make a pit stop here. Oh, no, for Walker. What disasters towards the end of this race. A spin has brought all the damage he didn't need, and now under wet conditions, surely a pit stop is into effect, and Walker was looking at possibly winning this race. Now he's going to look to survive in this race.
The only lucky thing for him there is the safety car was brought out due to his incident, so he may be able to get back out ahead of Sohan Matthew, with all the drivers still having to drive to a delta until they get across this lap. They will all still be driving to a delta, so we'll see if Walker can hang on to that top 3 position.
We'll have to wait and see. Cobalt, however, takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix under safety car. And here comes Purple Catfish around the final turn, and I believe he's going to get ahead of Walker. Now the big question is, does Sohan Matthew get ahead of Walker? Walker changes the wing, he changes the tires, a new set enters. No, I don't think this is going to work. Sohan's looking to make the overtake pretty soon. And I believe Walker is going to come out. 5th position now. He's going to be in 5th as Rivas is just a bit far behind at the moment. So unfortunately, Rivas not able to pick up any more positions. But Walker down.
Oh no!
Chief Chris has a penalty, a drive-through speeding under safety car. The Delta was not working good for the Ferrari driver, and that's a drive-through penalty. And you can't be too thrilled when that happens under safety car. Chief Chris is going to have to make a drive-through, and unfortunately under safety car, he can't do it now. He's going to have to wait for it to go green flag racing.
Oh, man, that is very unfortunate. Chief Chris, his first race on the wheel, has done pretty well to survive, getting a little bit of everything here today with the rain. Hopefully he can hang on, maybe get another safety car or something to save his race, but unfortunate for Ferrari. They do have Sohan, though, up in 3rd position right now. Catfish in 2nd. Might be the driver of the day right now, behind Granny Boy and Rivas. But Purple Catfish with a pretty good performance.
Walker's picked up another 30-second time penalty, and I think now he might be dropping even more positions if once the pack catches up with each other. Given how close they'll be under wet conditions, Walker is going to be losing quite a bit of positions here in this race, I think.
Yep, and this is where it becomes in to be ideal. Actually, quite a bit of drivers with penalties right now. Only Catfish, Granny Boy, and Rivas in 2nd, 4th, and 6th. The only drivers without penalties right now. Ricky Starr in 8th. So the even positions seem to be where you need to be if you don't want to get a penalty in this race.
Nonetheless, we are still under safety car here. I'm sure we'll have it for another lap. I'm riding on board. It looks like the driver in last is Brogan Morris YT, who is up with the rest of the pack. So it probably is going to just be one more lap of safety car conditions here. And beginning on lap 25, we will have a green flag racing conditions in only the final few laps of this race. But as you can see, it is belting there in Singapore. The rain is really starting to come down, and I don't think we're going to move on to wet tires anytime soon, but inter tires is bad enough as it is. And now 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags for Brogan. And drivers are picking up a lot of penalties here under safety car, and I actually saw Ethan pick up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane while he made his pit stop.
Yeah, Brogan was a back marker. He should have been allowed past there, but this game is not always the cleanest, and gave him the penalties there. So unfortunate for the Haas driver. Going to have to serve a penalty, but at least he'll be on the lead lap now.
So Vapor Cobalt leads. Purple Catfish in 2nd. Sohan Matthew in 3rd. Granny Boy in 4th. Walker currently rounding off the top 5. As you said there, Rivas, Granny Boy, and Purple Catfish, 2nd, 4th, and 6th respectively, all without penalties. So we may be seeing a very different podium at least, and even winner towards the end of this race if drivers are not able to make the gaps up that they need to, or if anybody picks up a penalty, might add. We do not know the warnings right now for everybody, so some drivers may be on the verge of picking up a penalty. Nonetheless, you're watching live coverage of the Singapore Grand Prix. It's round number 16 of 22 of Savior 6 Racing League's Season 1. And we are under safety car here, lap 24 of 31. Vapor Cobalt leads the Singapore Grand Prix with Purple Catfish in second, Sohan Matthew in third. And it looks like we will be going racing green flag towards the end of this race, and we can get ready and set for the restarts. And we'll see if Cobalt can get a bit of a better one on this particular occasion. But it's looking a little late here. And
yeah, we have not heard from race control yet. The light's still on that Mercedes AMG.
It looks like we may be going around again. There's still a lot of cars going all over the track. I don't think they've caught up enough to get a restart here, so we may be under safety car here for just a bit.
I will say, definitely hoping that Catfish, with no penalties, can hang on to Cobalt here. The only drivers to win a race so far this season, Cobalt, Granny Boy, and Walker. So definitely want to see Catfish or Sohan Matthews be able to get up there, but no penalties for Catfish. An ideal position for him to be in right now.
So we will have another lap and maybe even more under safety car. As you can see, it looks like, I believe, Brogan right there having trouble under safety car as he almost had a Grosjean Baku moment there, putting it into the wall. The pack is not all caught up yet. Pocket Dog is still out there, and Chief Chris as well, actually having some troubles. And there's a drift and a half there around the turn. That's not what he wanted to in a Formula One car. But as they continue to wait to try to pick up with the pack, at the moment we still sit under safety. This is going to make the car restart extremely interesting. It looks like we may only have 5 laps to go in this race towards the end.
Yeah, as long as it's going to come down to whoever can get the most heat in their tires here. These tires are going to be very cold right now. Going to try to make sure you got to have them very warm because you don't know when the safety car is coming in. It may be in this lap, but some drivers still pretty far behind. They may keep it out another lap yet still. Be interesting to see here.
And if you're Cobalt, this long safety car, another lap of this would be detrimental to any possibility of a victory. Of course, that is if Catfish picks up another penalty of his own. But the longer the safety car is, the worse and the harder it's going to be to pick up a gap on Purple Catfish. Now, I do want to mention that Catfish has an Alfa Romeo ahead of him. So, unfortunately, in this situation, I'm not sure. I believe that's Mooks, who is actually in 17th. The safety car's in this lap, so thankfully for Cobalt, that's good news for him. But Catfish is actually in second, but Mooks has been caught up in the crossfire of all this, and he is actually sitting ahead of Purple Catfish, and that's no Catfish whatsoever under this restart. And I actually noticed Mooks almost made he's actually close to making contact with Cobalt, and oh my God, this is getting really close, and I don't think he wants to be flirting with him too much here on the safety car restart and picking Cobalt up with another penalty.
Yeah, Mooks should ghost. We do have ghosting turned on, so Mooks should ghost once they get to start-finish line. But if he doesn't get a very good exit here...
Chief Chris has a 3-second time penalty on her safety car the last time he wanted to pick up a penalty, and Mooks is getting very close to the back of that racing point, and I can't imagine the penalty he may pick up if he made contact with somebody under safety car. And here we go, safety car restart for Cobalt is underway. Mooks gets way out of the way, it looks like, and he does not want to be giving up too much problems for Catfish, but now Catfish is going to ghost through him.
Granny Boy already up to third. What a start by him.
What a start it is. Granny Boy up in the third. Purple Catfish now looks to be possibly under pressure a lot more than he thought he might be. Because now look at this. Granny Boy, an amazing restart. Now Granny Boy is going to make an overtake up into second place. What a move by Granny Boy. Purple Catfish did not have a great restart. Those inter tires did not warm up as he may have wanted them to. And now Granny Boy may even overtake Cobalt before the end of this race if he can catch up to him.
Oh, and I just have to say, Hayden just made a double overtake on the Mercedes going into the end of that normal DRS straight, turn 7, double overtake at the end to move him up into 8th.
I'm sure we'll see the onboard of that a little bit later on your side of the stream, so it's going to be definitely a good one to see for sure later on in the replay. Nonetheless, though, we got to keep on board of Granny Boy because he is getting closer and closer to Cobalt, looking to make an overtake even before the end of this race. He does not want to wait on penalties. He wants to wait on merit and get the victory here today.
Yeah, never can count on those penalties, too. Stewards have been known to remove penalties in some occasions. So you got to be careful with that. You got to try to win it on track because you never know what happens after the race.
We're into the final closing moments of the Singapore Grand Prix. We're under
Walker! Walker goes deep. Walker's off track.
Walker has damage. Does he? Yes, a lot of damage on the front wing. Yellow flag in Sector 3, and Walker's race. What can he say? It went bad towards the end, and now it's gone even worse. And Granny Boy picked up 3 seconds. Now it's go time. Granny Boy has to catch up to Vapor Cobalt. I believe Vapor Cobalt only has 3 seconds. Yes, so now it is an overtake or nothing for Granny Boy to win this race ahead of Cobalt, and we'll see if he can catch up to Cobalt. And another yellow flag in Sector 3, and it looks like the Williams of Walker going into the pit lane. Another Williams looks like having problems. JC also into the pit lane, and both Williams making pit stops. It's just been a terrible of events for Williams. What was looking like a fantastic race it could be for Williams has turned very bad towards the end, and now we may even see it. Yep, it's going to be a bit of a double here for Williams, and this has just been turned from bad, especially if you're JC. Prince, meanwhile, and Vapor Hayden are going side by side, and Vapor Hayden gets a bit of more traction and gets ahead of Prince up into, that might have been contact. It looked like Knight was trying to make a move possibly and may have outbroke himself a little bit. He keeps his front wing intact at the moment. Meanwhile, in the distance there, looks like Mookstar is sliding all over the place as he is getting lapped very quickly here by the rest of the pack. Let's ride back on board of Granny Boy, though, because now it's within a second of a lap behind Cobalt, looking to make a pass on Cobalt for the victory here in Singapore. What a story that would be. What a race that would be for him. What moves he's made all race long, and now he's looking for the lead of the race. Meanwhile, look at Sohan. I want to mention Sohan as well. Very close to back of Purple Catfish, looking for a move as well.
He's been on the back of him this entire lap. It looks like the rain might be picking up in intensity just a bit right now, too. It looks hard to see a racing line right now. As it seems to start to be getting a little bit more wet out there. Sohan, though.
Are we going to see crazy? How crazy would it be to see wet tires at the end of this race? Purple Catfish. Oh, there's contact between Sohan and Catfish. Catfish ran into the back of the rear diffuser of Purple Catfish, and now side by side coming into turn one. A move on the inside. Will we see contact between the two? Mooks is still in there. I'm sure blue flags are waving, but it's not working out too well. And Purple Catfish, meanwhile, look at this. Sohan and him are having a nice battle.
And
Boy still.
Sorry, I just want to say Revis is pit onto the wets, so somebody is on wets now. We'll have to keep an eye on him.
They're all moving to wets. This is crazy towards the end of the race. Drivers going onto the wet tires. They think it's the right tire to be on. Meanwhile, Granny Boy is really right up on the back of Cobalt. Are we going to see these leaders pit for wet tires at the end of this lap? We're seeing a lot of drivers go to the wets. They think it's ready.
Safety car, no!
Car deployed.
That is...
way to make contact between Cobalt and Granny Boy. Granny Boy's picked up a 5-second penalty for a severe collision of Cobalt. As the safety car deployed, Granny Boy went into the back of Cobalt. He's picked up a 5-second penalty. That is a disaster for him. They're going to go into the pit lane for wet tires, but Granny Boy's picked up 5 seconds.
Some of these drivers may stay out. This race may finish under the safety car. The field is very spread out right now, so it'd be you may see these drivers staying out. That is unfortunate for Revis and coming out at the worst time for him and after pitting for those wets, but...
I don't think we can end under safety car. I think it would just go out on the last lap. So we would still have one more lap of racing, but I do believe it can't actually end on safety car.
Well, it's a good time for first. Maybe we'll see a first here today, too. Because if it can end under safety car, Catfish could walk away with a race victory.
But Purple Catfish is probably being held up a little bit right now with, let's see, is there a pit stop? No, Granny Boy and Cobalt do not make pit stops. Purple Catfish is probably being held up a little bit because of the Delta, but he's not going to be able to catch up a whole bunch of time, I believe, either.
Oh, wow, that was Mooks almost spinning out. I thought it was somebody in position.
I do not want to know how treacherous it is for everybody here, given how wet it is out there, and that the Inter tires are probably not the tire to be on right now.
Oh, Prince is going to pit, though. He has no front wing right now. From 8th position, he's going to pit. So not counting on the one-lap sprint to the finish pace. Going to try to pit here.
So Purple Catfish now, as you can see, Granny Boy and Cobalt are behind the safety car. So Catfish just has to catch up, and I'm sure he will. Can you imagine the scenes? Purple Catfish picking up the win possibly, as we're going to probably only have one more lap of racing to go. Given how spread out the pack is, they will just restart the race if there are not enough cars close together. But Catfish could be looking at a victory here today. What a dream scenario that would be. What an amazing race it has been. Everything has just been perfect. Vapor Hayden now has picked up a penalty for contact with Sohan Matthew on their safety car.
Yeah, Sohan went A. I believe that penalty will be removed. So I would not worry about that penalty.
But Purple Catfish, he's just had a clean race the entire time. No penalties for him. He doesn't have to pick up anymore, and now look how close he is. He is going to catch up with this pack under safety car. Safety car's in this lap.
Oh, there it is. You called it.
Here it is. So 2 more laps of racing here. Catfish looking to pick up a victory. Granny Boys picked up a 5-second penalty for hitting the back of Cobalt just as the safety car deployed. Here we go. I can't. My heart is racing. I cannot wait. I've never commentated this league before, and I just feel like I've been commentating it for 50 more races before it. And I am excited to see how this one's going to end. Let's get ready, boys. Lap 30 will be the penultimate lap and will be the restart lap on this safety car. Can Cobalt get a good one? Can Granny Boy get ahead of him? The more important issue, can Purple Catfish keep it clean for 2 more laps and pick up a win here today? It's looking good. Let's wait and see. Restart goes. Cobalt goes. Here it goes, Granny Boy. Here it goes, Purple Catfish. And we are underway racing in this one. And Sohan Matthew is right on the back of Purple Catfish, looking to pick up a victory of his own. On the inside, Purple Catfish, though, is ahead, though, Ethan's out of the race. He's crashed already at the restart into the underneath the bridge section. He's had to crash. Are we going to see a safety car redeployed? I don't think so. We're in the final 3 laps. I don't think it can deploy another safety car. Granny Boy, meanwhile, is right on the back of Cobalt, looking to make a pass on the penultimate lap of this race. But meanwhile, Purple Catfish has had a clean getaway here. Now all he needs is these drivers really to battle. If they battle, they slow each other up. Purple Catfish picks up a victory. He just doesn't have to pick up a penalty here. That's all he needs not to do. This is crazy on the final few laps of this race. Drivers are making overtakes left and right. Vapor Hayden has had contact into the wall. More disaster for McLaren. This has not been the race to remember, but this is going crazy. Look at this side-by-side. Will take a little bit between 2 drivers. Look at this. Granny Boy and Cobalt going side-by-side contact between the 2. Catfish is going to try to get involved in inside move into the hairpin, and Granny Boy gets the move. But to what avail? He needs to make up a bit of a gap. He's got now 7 seconds of penalties after that pit stop contact. And now on the inside is Cobalt. Purple Catfish must be loving this sight, because as these 2 race, they go slower. Purple Catfish much more closer to a victory, but now look at this.
Cobalt down the inside.
Cobalt makes contact with Granny Boy, and he's been spun. He loses positions. Granny Boy takes the lead, but Purple Catfish, now Cobalt ahead of Sohan Matthew. Purple Catfish up in the 2nd position behind Purple Catfish. Granny Boy behind Purple Catfish, looking for a victory. Oh my goodness. Final lap about to begin. Here we go.
He needs to hold on. 6.5 seconds of wiggle room for Catfish right now. 6 seconds he needs to stay. He needs to not lose to Granny on this lap.
Now 2 seconds the gap right now, though. No penalties for Catfish. He's navigated just about that final little issue there. And now another Walker's retired out of the race, and he's had a crash of his own under the wet tires. So maybe the wet tires were not the tire to be on, because now Walker is out of this race. 3 seconds is the gap now. It's starting to climb a little bit. Purple Catfish has to pick up the pace here. But now he might under be pressure from Cobalt is looking on the inside, trying to make a move. 3.6 seconds, 3.5. It is starting to gain. Catfish needs to make up some time. Granny Boy has, I believe, no, it's actually 7 seconds, I think it would be. Because, yeah, 8 seconds now. Actually, it's 8 seconds of positions now. I think Catfish might get this done.
8 seconds he needs to finish within Granny Boy's range. Needs to make sure he doesn't get any penalties here. They are not on the ideal tires, though, so you got to be careful every single corner here.
Granny Boy is navigating it beautifully, though. 5.2 seconds the gap now. It's starting to gain more and more. Purple Catfish is having trouble on those inter tires keeping up, but I think he still should be good to go. It's not a whole lot of places where you can gain a whole bunch of time now. 5.8 seconds, 5.9. It's now going to be 6 seconds. There's but a 2-second window or so. Purple Catfish now 6 seconds. This is going to get close. Can Granny Boy keep up the gap, or are we going to see a dream victory for the AlphaTauri driver?
Come on, Catfish!
Retired. A
Come
crash
on!
for Mim. Granny Boy's coming around the couple of final corners. No. Now 7 seconds almost. It's so very close. The final turn is about to come around. I think he might be able to do it. Coming around the final turn. What's the gap going to be between everybody? 7.3, 7.5. Across the line, a crash, and he's out of the race. 7.8 seconds, and Purple Catfish comes around the final turn, and he is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Another victory for a new driver. Big crash at the end.
Oh, and look at Rivas.
Purple Catfish picks it up, and Rivas onto the podium from 18th on the grid. What a race. Granny Boy finishes in second. Purple Catfish is your winner in Savior 6 Racing League for the first time in Season 1 at the Singapore Grand Prix. And what a better display of fireworks than that one right there.
Wow, an absolutely unbelievable race. Dry weather, a bunch of overtakes. Then we saw the rain. Oh, man, treacherous conditions. People driving on inters in those very wet conditions. Just an unbelievable race there today. Thanks for broadcasting this with us, Noah. Oh, man, I can't say anything else. Just a great race overall. You have a good time here today?
I had that's probably in the 2 years that I've been doing league racing commentary, that is one of the most amazing races I've had the ability to commentate on. Absolute stunner. Purple Catfish picks up the victory. And let's watch that podium celebration or go over the grid order one more time. My voice is pretty much shot, but I'm happy it got shot on this race. Rivas Island, no doubt about it. Driver of the day, 18th to 3rd on the grid. That is a performance of a lifetime. But there it is, the winner, Purple Catfish. Granny Boy in second, and third for Rivas Island. The champagne flies he pour in round number 16 of 22. That is it, and it is a very American podium right there. 2 American flags shining up on there, and if you're a driver like Purple Catfish, being one of the only other drivers to win a race here, you got to that's the Pierre Gasly podium right there, I guess. Purple Catfish picks up the win ahead of Granny Boy. Rivas Island 4th for Cobalt, 5th for Sohan Matthews, 6th for Owen Wilson in 7th, 8th for Knight Kotze, 9th for Prince, 10th for Pocket Dog, Vapor Hayden in 11th, 12th for J-Steak, Chief Chris in 13th, 14th for Brogan Morris, and Walker, and the rest DNFing. Walker in 15th, 16th for Mook, 17th for Ethan Hash in 18th, 19th for Raw. King Caesar out of the race like the other 5 we just mentioned. And that is it. Now, do we do podium interviews here, or are we just going to be ending here today?
Yeah, if you want to do the podium interviews with me, I was going to say we'll do the podium interviews now after the broadcast here.
Oh, are we? I mean, I was going to do it during the
Yeah,
broadcast.
yeah. No, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
After the
yeah.
race. After the race. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's get into the showroom. We'll bring up the cars who
Yep.
won, and if you want to invite the driver.
Will do. All right, invite in P1. Just gotta wait for them to get out of their cars here, folks. Wait for them to get back here to the paddock and do a post-race interview here with us.
Yeah, but wow, what a race! I can't. Oh man, that's one of the that's one of the highlights. I kid you not, that is a highlight of my time commentating. That was extremely entertaining. That was awesome.
Yeah, if only it wasn't our first time together.
Yeah, it was great. It went well together. I was really happy.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely very, very exciting race. I mean, for Singapore, nonetheless, you usually don't see a lot of excitement there.
No, once it rains, I'm like, oh no, it's over. The race is over. But no, it went well. So.
Yep.
Waiting, and if we don't get them in, we will just
yep, we'll just move on.
End the broadcast off here.
I know Granny will always talk to us. Appears Catfish is in the main menu. Just seeing if he might just be ecstatic right now, celebrating. All right, it does not appear he's on F1 anymore, so let's see if we can get P2 in here. The Red Bull of Granny Boy.
I mean, what a crazy one here in Singapore.
Oh yeah, you saw.
Analysis.
Didn't know it was gonna rain. Thought Cobalt had it locked up on those hard tires. Granny Boy pit and ended up being like 24 seconds behind at one point there. Walker though, once the rain hit, completely changed everything there.
Oh. And we got P1 and we got P2.
P1 and P2 here, dude.
And Purple Catfish, I hope you got your voice on share, and I can't imagine the excitement you are feeling right now. You are the winner of the Singapore Grand Prix. Talk us through that race and probably a nail-biter final few laps there for you.
I feel like this race was definitely handed to me. Did not have the pace in the rain. Struggling a lot and just try to get in those 8 seconds at the end. And I think I did it, but I know I did it, but we know that Randy Boy crashed at the end, so I'm not sure if he got a penalty for that. But yeah, it was a tough race, but happy I got the win.
Yeah,
And,
just
yep.
great job overall. You had a P3, a P2. You finally got the elusive race win.
Yes.
Broke the holy trio of Walker, Granny, and Cobalt only getting wins. You think you can get another one later on in the rest of the season?
Definitely not. They're way too fast.
Yeah, Noah called it the Pierre Gasly performance of the season.
Yes. Yeah, definitely was lucky on this one.
Meanwhile, let's talk over the Granny Boy. Granny Boy, it was crashed there at the very end of the turn. Not sure if that was intentional style or if it was a mistake. Nonetheless, you finished P2. That was definitely a difficult race for you. I want to go way back, though, into qualifying 2. There was a bit of a problem there for you trying to set a lap, and you just retired immediately. So talk us through that and then further on into the race.
Yeah, cheers for inviting me into this chat. Basically, I invalidated my first lap on the mediums, and then I went back out again. A guy, was in front of me at the end of the sector 3. I started my lap way longer than what he did. He actually retired as well. I'm not going to say his name, but yeah, he retired as well. And it just kind of he kind of blocked me. He said he was on a lap as well, but he had a little bit of a wobble when I was getting up to him. So I don't know if that was any difference to him being on the lap or that was his actual lap. It was literally just out of the bridge.